Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, it's our wrestling podcast, Getting Over. Paul's here, and host Stuart Woodmansey made the trip over. I'm there as well, for what it's worth. And Matt sent us some predictions, so it was like he was in the room. Check out the wrestling podcast we've got here for you now. If you're not checking us out on YouTube, I mean, what are you doing with your life, really? Come on. Go and have a look on YouTube. Check out the video. So, here we go. This is Cookiecast Getting Over.
Click and click, clickety click and click.
It's beautiful work.
I'm
Click,
just going to
click.
sit back
Boom.
in my chair. Oh, beautiful.
We in?
I believe
Are we settled?
we're in. We're
Oh.
here. We're here.
Run. No.
We could have called it that, couldn't we?
What way?
Rather than getting over, we could have just called it We're Here.
We're here.
Or just, we'll full out Bray Wyatt.
Just the Bray Wyatt fan podcast.
Let me in.
Again, beautiful.
So, if you hadn't guessed, ladies and gentlemen, here
It's
we
the
are
football no.
once again with
The Renegade Masters.
Cookiecast presents Getting Over, and I believe we're up to number 14.
I wouldn't have a clue, number-wise.
So-
Number one.
We're here once again, Getting Over, to talk about all things wrestling in the build-up to still going ahead down the road to WrestleMania this year.
That's a very interesting point you've raised there, Stu. Will it still be going ahead?
Yes.
Because of
They've cancelled the Arnold.
Have they?
One of the first big sporting events that
Already?
they cancelled.
Well, there's already talk about the Olympics going there, getting there.
Olympics are pretty much done.
That's pretty much
at
dead.
this point, aren't they?
I did see something earlier in the week actually that the first confirmed case of everybody's favourite flu-based virus
Chinese bat flu.
Chinese black flu.
was confirmed in Tampa, the home of this year's piratey themed
Yeah, that's
WrestleMania.
not going to do anything to allay the fears, is it?
No.
How many weeks are we out from WrestleMania?
4 I've just had a look. 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's going to have to clean up pretty soon. Or that's going to bite the dust.
I think, personally, being the massive cynic that I am, there is far too much money involved for it not to go ahead. And really,
Well,
I can't see it. They might hand out a free WWE-based face mask.
oh my God, can you imagine 70, 80,000 people inside that stadium just wearing fucking face masks?
I've been
That'd be
saying
terrifying.
So, the Corona beer, their sales have gone down 43%.
Down?
Yeah, since
Yep.
all this kicked off. You know one thing that they should be doing right now?
Can you get free beer?
Lean into it, give everybody a free face mask with a six-pack.
Yep.
Lean into it. Honestly, you're going to be bankrupt before long. So,
Or
Get right into
do a run of Corona with a little virus on the label?
yeah, just lean into
Yeah.
it.
Play up to it, yeah. That would make sense.
Like that, things like that really make me fear for humanity. It's not the virus that bothers me; it's the stupidity that's going to kill you.
What they could
Like-
do is they could cross-brand with Cavonia,
God.
because that sounds quite close to Corona.
Welcome to Tangent Cast, everyone.
Product placement cast.
Speaking of product placement,
Oh, yeah.
thank you very much. I've been speaking to our friend Johnny from Let Loose HQ. If you guys are listening along, go and check out Let Loose HQ on Facebook, at Let Loose HQ on Twitter, and again on Insta. He's a gent who he's opened up his own store online. I do all things fig based, belt based, other bits of merch as well. Anything that you are looking for wrestling related, Johnny from Let Loose HQ will sort you out with that. Good guy, spoke to him a fair bit. Also runs weekly live auctions on Facebook Live. Definitely check out a bargain. Well worth having a look at. So get yourselves over to Let Loose HQ. So there's your product placement. So cheers, Johnny.
Cheers, Johnny.
So we have not done this for a few weeks. It feels like
It's been a while. I believe it was Royal Rumble preview podcast that was our last in behind the mics.
it was, and it's that weird thing where WrestleMania has crept into April, so that it skews like the monthly pay-per-view thing. So we've effectively missed February, and then they've now doubled it up in a fortnight by having Brawl for the Blood. Super Showdown in Saudi, and then following up with Elimination Chamber, which we'll talk.
This must be the latest that they've done. What would have been the February pay-per-view.
It feels
as
very
in the
late.
last pay-per-view before Mania. Although they did Fastlane a couple of times, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that was maybe just pinching into March.
It never felt like they took that dead seriously though, because I'm pretty sure they used to refer to it as a speed bump on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, well, it's just weird, isn't it? Because it always used to seem to me like they wanted to leave themselves a little bit more time before Mania to sort of bring everything together. Like, not tie all the loose ends up, but put neat little bows on things and things like that to sort of lead up to WrestleMania. And obviously it's better to do that in 6 weeks than it is to do it in 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, it seems like they're maybe sort of painting themselves into a bit of a corner here, and they may be scrambling around to do some last minute stuff, but that's never been WWE style before, has it? So
does, like, obviously we'll get to this at some point, but
I'm so glad I was like, if I'd have taken that drink in then.
Village. We've
Got
got
a beautiful spit take it would have made.
we've got 4 weeks until the biggest show of the year, and we've got 4 confirmed matches.
I mean, that doesn't sound like the WWE to me. That's not the sort of thing they would be well.
it's 4 confirmed. It's 4 confirmed matches, but there's at least 2 or 3 that you can pretty much pencil in.
One of those matches, John Cena.
It
might
is,
be.
yeah. This
Was
week's
that after he said that he definitely wasn't going to WrestleMania this year because he wanted to let the younger guys.
Oh, Andrew, how could you be so naive?
Well, where else is he going to get more money to fund a haircut? Because he needs that haircut. It's finally going to happen.
Well,
Fast and the Furious.
Is it not a hair versus hair match?
No.
Oh.
So, for those of you that don't know, haven't seen, The Fiend challenged John Cena. As far as I'm aware...
What, it's for the Universal Championship?
Why?
Again, we'll get to this. But there was no words exchanged.
Why?
There is a reason why.
Oh, here we go.
Explain
This will be a good one, won't it?
We know from first-hand knowledge why it's happening.
So, people don't give WWE any credit for long-term storytelling, mainly because they don't do that. What happens is things happen in the
There's a
past.
reason for that.
Things happen in the past, then they rehash it slightly, and then they're like, yeah, but look at that, this was a long-term plan all along. If anybody can smell that massive pile of bullshit that's just lurking in the background. But anyway, so yeah, it's all started because...
Sorry, was that... Can you...
No, don't poke the bear.
No, we do not do those catchphrases at this time. So, it's because the demise, if you like, of the Bray Wyatt character, some people will accredit that to he should have gone over Cena at WrestleMania 30.
We were there. We were at that one.
He didn't.
No.
Shocker. Spoilers for those of you who haven't seen something that's 6 years old.
If you've not seen WrestleMania 30 yet, I'd say possibly stop this podcast now,
And don't
go
turn it
back in
on.
time, then re-pick up the podcast.
So there is that element, and as well, do you remember the promos? I don't know if you've seen the promos that led up to that match. Was like some of the stuff about Cena questioning himself at the time, and I always remember there's the one where he's in the bathroom and he looks up at himself in the mirror, and Wyatt's just behind him, and then as he looks down and turns around to confront Wyatt, he's just gone. And there was some really good stuff, and it was all the stuff with the choir, and he's got the whole world in his hands and all that stuff. That was like peak cult leader Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And it felt like they were going to pull the trigger, and it never happened, really. To me, it never recovered from that point. Bray Wyatt's now, obviously, over that time, put the work in, redeveloped the character, come back with The Fiend, and to me, they're going to bill it as this is now his time to make that wrong right.
So I don't know if this is something that he'd seen, but I did see that someone had put something on the internet
On the Tins of Web?
Yeah, about I don't know if it was fan theory or if it was just an idea that someone had sort of pieced together. But obviously, jumping ahead slightly, the match at the Saudi show had Goldberg going up against Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, for the Universal Championship. From what I can remember, from what I've seen, not a very long match.
Absolutely not a very long match. Lot of spears.
Did he knock himself out in any of them?
No, he managed to not do that this year. I kind of feel.
Really?
I do kind of feel like it was Goldberg's Saudi redemption.
All right.
He managed not to headbutt the door on the way out this time as well. So, but yeah, they've gone ahead. They've put the Universal title on him. But are you saying it's because of they've got no history?
Well, this is the point. So, did the Fiend put up any sort of challenge to him?
Yeah, a little.
Because the thing that I'd seen on
Not a lot.
the thing I'd seen on, I think it was possibly Twitter, but it was something along the lines of, there's no backstory of him against Goldberg, so in the Fiend's eyes, there's no battle with him because he's not someone who's wronged Bray Wyatt in the past, which is why the Fiend now needs to sort of take out the retribution on him. Whereas if you look at all the people that he has taken retribution on, Daniel Bryan turned on him when he was the leader of the Wyatt family. Now John Cena beat him at WrestleMania 30. They had a few matches after that, as I think. Did they have a cage match at Extreme Rules just after? And then I think Wyatt got his win back there. But then I don't think it was the standard John Cena sort of storytelling. And you'll get one win off him, but you won't have the overall
You might win the battle.
Yeah, you won't win the war. And so on and so forth. So all the people that he's sort of targeted so far are people that had wronged him. So the Finn Balor thing when he first came through, obviously Finn Balor as the demon had taken out Bray Wyatt previously. So there was that idea of there was no previous beef, if you will, with Goldberg. So he's saving himself for a challenge against someone that he needs to get retribution on.
But there was a huge backlash to the what happened and the fact that it's the Fiend's first loss. It effectively
technically no. The Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell match, didn't that go down as a Rollins win?
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, first pinfall.
First pinfall,
yeah. And it shouldn't have been to a guy who's in his 50s, who, to all intents and purposes, nobody really expected him to come back for anything. He's had his moment in the sun in terms of the Hall of Fame and all the rest of it, so really just what are they doing? Personally, I was a bit annoyed at the time, but I'm kind of alright with it now. And this doesn't happen very often that I'll completely reverse on it, but the reason behind that is the reason we've talked about. There is no history there. So
there's no reason for it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. It was a little bit out of left field, but at the end of the day, they needed a way to get the title off him, because to me, inherently, that Fiend character is much more interesting than the title.
Well, he's not holding a title.
Yeah.
I remember going back to one of the first big matches and saying, what purpose does it serve for the Fiend to win the title? The Fiend's going to look at it like, what do you want me to do with this? That character that had built up to that point, it was very much what would you like me to do with this?
And it became very much like an absorption of the title into part of his character, and the fact they changed the makeup of the belt for the Fiend presentation and all the rest of it. So it's just not needed, and I think he'll carry on certainly being top billing without carrying the title. And for me, that's kind of why I'm okay with it. The other thing from Saudi was another return of another older guard, if you like. You seen all this?
Gong.
The end of the prestigious Twig Trophy Gauntlet match. So AJ Styles thinks he's finished off the field, and then as Paul points out there, the gong's hit,
Has the lights just turned out?
The Saudi faithful go wild, and
As they would.
in comes Undertaker. He obviously wasn't stopping because he didn't take his jacket and his hat off. Just gave AJ the old choke slam, and that was it.
Was declared the winner of the tournament?
Yep, the Twig Trophy, the prestigious Twig Trophy. So yeah,
Keep going.
bit of an odd, but that's another potential WrestleMania match now. AJ versus Undertaker.
I think that's pretty much nailed on, given what happened on Raw.
Yeah.
So on Raw, he had a match against Aleister Black after Aleister Black had been pretty much double teamed by Gallows and Anderson.
I mean,
No, that was the week before. The double
did
team.
he face him individually?
He came out last week for a match against Eric Rowan, and the OC did a number on him beforehand, and he sort of huffed and puffed the whole time, and then still went and won. And then this week he had to. He thought Aleister Black was going to be fighting AJ. And
That was an advertised match, wasn't it?
it was an advertised match. Then last minute, AJ's in the middle of his promo about the Undertaker, and he said, "But you didn't see when you signed the contract for the match. You've got to go through the toughest man in the building to get to me." In pops Machine Gun himself, Carl Anderson. But that has led to a match which we'll talk about on the card for the Elimination Chamber. So that was the Undertaker returning. Obviously, is a big deal. Doesn't matter how old he is. He's the longest serving character. You can argue back and forth whether he should be doing it or not. The fact is, he's there for the dollars.
Let's put it this way.
I was happier when he wasn't coming back.
Of the people on the roster that they're obviously trying to get a match out of him with, there isn't anyone better than AJ, because he can carry the match.
Agreed.
And on the Undertaker just needs to basically sort of call the spots that
How old?
he needs.
How old is
He's
he
over
now?
50 now. He must be nearly like 55 or something like that.
If this was any other sport, he'd have been retired 20 years?
Yeah, at least 10.
But they reckon that wrestlers are kind of in their prime, sort of latter 30s to
40s,
all the way through
40
to 40s,
seems to be
don't
sort of
they?
the sweet spot and stuff like that. But if you think about it, he stopped being a regular in-ring performer around 2010 anyway. So the last 10 years he's maybe had less than 30 matches, would you say?
Yeah.
Certainly in the last
Do you
5
know,
years,
he
he's
only
only
had-
had one a year.
he only
Apart
had-
from like the sort of the Saudi shows and stuff like that.
Well, he only had more matches last year than he probably would have had because of the absolute shower that happened in Saudi, and he sort of proved the point,
Yeah,
didn't
it was.
he?
They had the Goldberg thing, and then it was a case of right. If that's potentially going to be my last match, not a fucking chance. Put me in a program with where I'm tagging with Roman.
And as well,
That was he did well in that.
That
That
tag
was
match
a
was a
good
good
match.
match. Enjoyed
Yeah.
that very much.
He showed he's still got some in the tank. So it could be that old adage of it. You know, he's not as good as he once was, but once
Good
he can
as
be
he
as
ever
good as he ever was. So, and like we've said, he's probably in there with arguably the best person that he could be. Someone that he knows is going to potentially take care of him. I mean, like, under his own admission, like AJ said that he works stiff or that he works snug, so that could potentially cause a few problems. But you'd imagine that he knows what he's doing, and you can't imagine that AJ is sat there just going, "I don't really fancy a match with the Undertaker." He's probably absolutely like, I can't think of the word, but yeah, he was like creaming his pants, basically. The kid in him is probably going absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Is this what we want to see, though?
I'm
Do you
okay
know
with
what?
it.
I think yeah. I'd say there's more people that are happy about it than there's people that are disappointed with it.
I get the impression that he's going to string it out. Like people would have been okay seeing the end of the Undertaker.
The way they
few
did
years
it,
ago,
the way they did it
I
with
feel
the,
like
with
they're
the
going to string it
Roman,
out to 40.
the way they did it, we always said if he was going to lose at Mania, it should be a case of he loses, the lights go out, and he's gone.
Well, they did it when it was the match with
The
Roman.
match with Roman Reigns, where he took his hat off, took his gloves off, took his jacket off, put him in the ring, walked away, walked onto the ramp, and disappeared into the floor.
And that as well, they played that really well because the guys that were then starting to take the WrestleMania set down, they left the ring until last, and the whole time that everything was being dismantled, the hat and the gloves and the jacket were still sat there as like a mark of respect. So you've got to believe that probably at that time...
a mark of respect,
But you got to probably believe at that time they thought, and even he probably thought, that's me done.
But people have pointed out they were very careful to not say
He's retired.
He's retiring, or they maybe like hinted at, is this the last time we'll see you? But I mean, they've been saying that every time he's been stepping in the ring. It's about that for the last 10 years. So I can see where you're coming from. Like he is not the same performer as he was 20 years ago.
What I would like to see is that they allow the old guard to move on. Or, if we're desperate to see another match with The Undertaker, fine. But what they should be doing is they should be going to... Is it referred to as like the CW now? These like the DC superhero shows that are on TV, like Flash and Green Arrow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They should be doing a two-prong attack. They should be going to like the performance centres, like NXT, or that sort of stuff, getting some really strong bodies, and they should go off and get some really strong writing staff, put the two things together, and bring us the next Undertaker. You know, like look at how people have just jumped all over the Fiend because it's fresh, it's new, you can get on board with it. It doesn't really, like you said, you know, this happened. And initially I was like, no. But now I'm like, yeah. You can just get on board with it, and it's because it's done well, it's set up well. Isn't that what we're supposed to be seeing at this point in time? Should we not be seeing more new stuff?
Well, the pieces that are in play at the moment with this whole AJ Styles thing, in the background, Aleister Black's just kind of snuck in there on the down low at the moment. And this, it's not necessarily a prediction, nor indeed a spoiler, Mr. Heyman. But what I'd like to see is Aleister Black's got that kind of occult part of his character. Why not then have this programme with Aleister Black and AJ? Because Aleister Black's going to be the one doing the donkey work between now and WrestleMania with the guest appearances from Taker when needed. Why not, like they did with the tag match with Roman Reigns last time around, why not have Aleister Black be the guy that comes in and takes that occult kind of character?
I've absolutely misread what you were going with there. I definitely thought you were going to end up with the triple threat idea.
No, not for me, because
it wouldn't make any sense.
It could be passing the torch, from one to the other. But then imagine they're doing that, and everyone thinks there's this whole respect building up, and the last thing that happens is Aleister Black, Black Mass to Undertaker, instant heat. For me, and again, we've talked about how things are written on actual WWE and how fans and ourselves kind of come up with these things. People might agree with what I've just said, people might not agree with what I've just said, but to me that would make sense. I'd be happy if that happened because Aleister Black is a hell of a talent.
I can knock you out a story. I can knock you out a storyline right now. Son of the Undertaker. Somebody turns up, looks vaguely in the vicinity of possibly being like related to the Undertaker,
it's not
just loose.
It's not going to be Jason Jordan, is it? We've tried that once.
And then they just build a feud between the two, all that, and then the Undertaker rides off into the sunset, and the quote-unquote son of the Undertaker picks up the hat, the gloves, the coat, and like a passing of the torch and everything. There needs to be... weirdly, everything that John Cena said when he was saying that he wasn't going to WrestleMania.
I think they've...
that's right, yeah.
I feel like they've kind of got that storyline in a different area in the Rey Mysterio Dominic not angle, but you'd imagine that at some point he's there, he's sort of in the background, and he's there in like certain elements and things like that.
Isn't he, or have they done nothing with that?
I think they're waiting for Dominic to catch up a little bit. It's like they've introduced him, they used him for the Brock bit that they needed, but it feels like they're waiting for the right time to introduce him, whether that's because he needs a bit more time and development or whatever. But yeah, it's happening. It's definitely the way that Mysterio is going out.
I can only... you might not agree with this, but I can only see one way that's going to work. He's not going to get over as a sickly sweet sort of Rey Mysterio Junior sort of
Junior.
attempt. It's only going to work if he turns on him.
Yeah.
Like if he gives him the mask and he sort of looks at it, puts it on, or goes to put it on, and then just like throws it down and just absolutely kills him. That's the only way he's going to get over. Because if he tries to be like Rocky Maivia type, the people are just going to shit all over it.
You had to mention his name, didn't you?
Well, I'm just like, because if you think about it, when he came through, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, he's pretty good," and then after like 2 months or something, they were like, "Well, he's a bit boring. He's basically just been shoved down our throats because he's a third generation star. Don't really fucking care."
Mm. Well, should we move on from Undertaker?
Right, Stu, let's get into the nitty gritty. When are we seeing Tyson Fury's next match?
Oh no!
Come on.
Oh no!
Please, never would be my response to that. I have no time for the King of the Gypsies. Absolutely not.
Can I ask a question?
But all of his sons are called Prince. Some.
Oh no!
He's a big fan of the tuna.
Is there a little bag
Well,
down there,
I was just about to bring that in with regular listeners and viewers will know that something right now is missing.
Absolutely. I mean, do you want to just drape that over your shoulder there?
Bring it out. Bring out the hardware. Come on.
Reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of
I thought if it stayed in the bag,
we'd forget about it.
you'd forget that it
Thanks.
existed, and it could just stay in the bag.
Well, there we go.
That sound can mean only one thing, ladies and gentlemen.
Champ is here.
The champ is most certainly here,
I believe
and
it's
unfortunately,
bounced.
you actually can see him.
Champion.
So
let's get into it.
we
As Paul mentioned at the beginning, we did a bit of predicting way back when for the Rumble. So, in no particular order, that's a very particular order.
Oh, God.
That's in order.
In last place, last time out, Mr. Moore. With a, I'd like to say respectable, but that's a lie. 3 points.
out of
Out of a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 we were giving out last time.
Ooh, man.
Sorry, dude. Yeah. You'll be pleased to know that Matt's given us some predictions ready for the Elimination Chamber, as he's unfortunately been unable to join us this evening, so better luck next time.
conspicuous by his absence, of course.
Yeah, it's just completely convenient that he's couldn't be here this evening. Anyway, moving on. Next up on the list, myself. With five.
Is it a case of us playing hot potato with this title once again?
With 5 points.
Oh my god.
Now this is bad because I know for a fact that I didn't get any points for either of the Rumble winners because I was stupid enough to say that Big E was going to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Paul, we don't condone drug taking on this podcast, but Paul was clearly on
smoking
something
crack
last time around.
I definitely couldn't have drunk.
I'd like to just drop in there, seeing as I've put myself next on this list in the points that I did pick Drew McIntyre to win the Royal Rumble, so I also picked Sasha Banks and she didn't even enter, so worse.
Yeah, but I think didn't she get a concussion like the week of or something?
The week off was like half an hour before or something ridiculous, wasn't it? So yeah, it is a shame, but yeah, it is what it is.
I think she'd have gone. I was about to say I think she'd have gone deep. Got a phrase that better.
So
if she'd have played, if she'd have been fit to wrestle.
In the words of the aforementioned Mr. Bill Goldberg, who's next? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can confirm Paul came second.
Oh, and still.
So, the reigning, defending, undisputed Cookiecast presents Getting Over pay-per-view predictions champion, Mr. Andy Cook. Rolls off the tongue all
look
that.
at this guy.
But Paul, just to put it in there, you also scored 5 points. I've just been nice putting you second. So actually, it was a very close run thing.
Third.
Do you want the kick in the nuts as to why Andy retained the title?
Is it because I had something along the lines of like a disqualification or something like that?
I want the regular listeners and you guys to cast your minds back to a certain pay-per-view in the middle of last year. Involves a few ladders.
Fuck you, Bailey.
And that was the first time we heard Mr. Williams utter his immortal catchphrase of, "There is absolutely no way that Bailey is in that match."
Look out for that on a t-shirt coming to cookiecast.com near you.
Funny you should mention the old word t-shirt, because we know how.
What is this?
Well, we know how Paul loves Bailey. It gets mentioned every time round.
Christ.
Dropped him a little present in the through the post. So seeing as Paul loves Bailey so much, I thought I'd indulge him. Apologies for the rustling just now, but
oh dear God!
Paul's out.
Not only is it a Bailey t-shirt, the eagle-eyed viewers may notice that. What's that? What's
This is absolutely why I chose this t-shirt for you, Paul, as well.
That right there? I think that's the Money in the Bank contract that she had absolutely no chance of winning.
So Andy was the only person to predict Bailey would retain the title, and that is essentially what won him the title this time around and helped him retain. So there we go.
That is fine.
I'll just drape it over me. For now.
So yeah, I couldn't resist when that came up. So yeah, congrats, champ.
Thank you. Are we keeping tab how many times we've had the belts? I'm just.
Oh my God! Well, is that the first successful defence?
It is the first successful defence.
Wow.
We haven't. I don't suppose we've got official records because that'll technically still count as one title reign. Pissed on
He must currently be the longest reigning.
He is, yeah.
Cookiecast predictions champion.
Oh, I've just thought of something. We need to, in true WWE fashion, mention that 63,000 times between now and the next podcast.
Between the last podcast and this one, I've won 160 times. So.
Oh my God! The streak continues.
Oh, no streaking on the podcast. Come on. Right. So, yeah, we've kind of skipped over the fact that there's been Takeover Portland as well.
Good show.
Very good show.
Once again, NXT don't do shit. They don't do bad shows.
We also had like WrestleMania implications as well, because one of the matches on Takeover Portland was Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the women's title.
Okay.
Ripley retained. Very good. Charlotte Flair has used her Royal Rumble win to pick the NXT champion as her match at WrestleMania.
Interesting.
Because it's WWE, first time ever that the NXT women's title will be defended at WrestleMania.
I can't imagine they'll have mentioned it.
No, just the 68 times per minute. So yeah, there was obviously a few other notable results. We won't go through every single result, but I suppose the other big one from that was Adam Cole retaining the NXT title against Ciampa because of Johnny Gargano's interference. So they are going with Gargano versus
Johnny Turncoat.
Yeah. At this point in time, Gargano is going to be competing with Big Show for the amount of heel face turns in a year. So good luck with that one. Hope he beats that record. He's definitely on to do that. But yeah, that was kind of the main sticking points, I guess, from that. So not to gloss over the show because it was very good. We've just got quite a lot to go through.
We've got a lot to pack into this puppy.
Especially because we discussed this about introducing our new segment.
Yes.
You might have noticed that sometimes we complain just a little bit about certain things. Not always.
Were you saying that we're a little bit salty?
Sometimes.
I wouldn't agree.
Try not to be, because I do like to try and point out the good stuff. So yeah, mainly I will at this point when I mention good stuff. Last thing about Takeover Portland: Pete Dunne, Matt Riddle winning the NXT Tag Team titles against the Undisputed Era. Match was great. Enjoyed it. Pleased that there's been a title change. Keeps that fresh. Special mention to the T-shirts that the Broserweights were wearing on the way to the ring. Obviously fighting Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. T-shirt read, "How many fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fry did fry fish?" Nearly got it.
So,
Somebody then updated his Wikipedia page with 3. The answer is 3.
personally, I would have just gone with how many fish could Bobby Fish fish if Bobby Fish could fish? Because you can fish 4 fish, so you wouldn't have to put in the fry thing.
Yeah, but whatever. It's fine. I enjoyed it. Paul's a grump. And on that note, the new section we thought we'd talk about is Ready to Grumble.
The Royal Grumble.
So, what I thought was we could pick one subject, something that's happened since the last podcast we're not particularly happy with. 30 seconds, get it off your chest, never to be mentioned again. So, who wants to make that debut?
I can kick us off if you want.
Alright.
So, do you want to give me 30 seconds on the clock?
30 seconds.
30 seconds on the clock.
On the clock. Your time, Mr. Williams, begins now.
I would happily just cast anyone in the arena who, counting along with the 3 count, 1, 2, sweet. Why don't you just fuck off and never come back to a live event ever again? No one wants you there. You're a piece of shit, and you're trying to take over the show. So, yes, kindly do one and fuck off.
That was very succinctly just tucked inside 30 seconds just there. So yeah, that's it. He's done. He's out of there.
It'll never be mentioned again on the podcast.
That has gone over the top rope.
Oh, is this like a Room 101 situation?
Yes, it is.
Oh, man, it's fine-tuning, man.
Oh, God.
I'm quite happy to go next if you need a little time.
I know. Give me those 30 seconds.
All right. Okay. So, Ready to Grumble round 1 for Mr. Cook begins now.
I don't like it when they set up a situation, for example, where John Cena spends a long time talking about how you need to let the new guys have a go, and you should, people like John Cena don't always need to be at WrestleMania, and then 30 seconds later, John Cena's going to WrestleMania. What about those young guys, the new up and comers? What about those guys? Don't say it if you're not going to do it.
Cool. He's bang on for the time as well. It's even a little bit under. So.
Amazing.
Right. Okay. So
I'll do your
can
time.
Somebody do my times? Yeah. So
Hang on.
I'm eager. I'm ready to go.
30 seconds, you said?
I'm ready to grumble.
30 minutes.
Stuart, your 30 seconds start now.
Okay. Ricochet.
Oh, no.
Don't want to be misconstrued. Podcast favourite, everybody's favourite Irish wrestler, Rick O'Shea. What are they doing? They put him in a title picture against Brock, they build him up, and then this week on Raw, loses to Riddick Moss, who has been on Raw 3 times, maybe? Twice, maybe? In a 24/7 title match. Please, please, please do not kill Ricochet. He's the best babyface that you've got at this point in time.
If anything, you were a little bit too quick there.
It has been said.
Oh my God. Didn't use up his full 30 seconds, but no.
Can I bank that 4 seconds for next time?
Couldn't agree with you more. No.
So yeah, so never to be mentioned again. All 3 shot straight over the top rope, eliminated. I'm pretty sure Matt would have joined in on that, so he can keep one by for next time.
He'd have probably. I can only assume he would have said something along the lines of, "Ridge Holland, why?
Just keep
why?
it.
Oh why?
Paul,
why?
Do you know
He just kept
something?
on doing that for
let
25
that man,
seconds.
let Mr. Moore have his money in the bank.
Do you know something? I think we've just generated our first
Viewer segment.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Get it out there.
That's absolutely
Get it out there on
something
the Twitter and let the fans have their.
Ready to let's let them get hashtag ready to grumble.
I think that is a perfect idea, and as well, if people want to put ideas forward for us to talk about, if they want to submit themselves, quite happy to read stuff out. So get involved, people.
Same way for segments. We're always happy to
Always
accept new
consider
segments on the show.
And as we've always said as well, if anyone wants to submit predictions, go up against us. Can't promise you that we'll post you that very illustrious title over that man's shoulder.
You can try and prize it from his cold dead fingers.
And on the note of predictions, let's get into the chamber, so to speak.
I don't want to. Do I? Because I won twice. Can I not do?
If at this point for
You want to Brock Lesnar it?
if the podcast
You
goes
will
on
not
forever,
turn
you will
up.
never lose.
Christ.
So there's a bit of a. I must point out as well at this point, the matches we're about to mention are all correct as far as the information we have at point of recording. Some may be added afterwards, so apologies, but we'll go with what we've got so far. Currently on the card, I am clocking 6 matches. Bit of a mixture of singles and Elimination Chamber matches going on in there. So we'll start with Aleister Black. It's been, let's say we mentioned it before, he's going up against AJ Styles. It has been billed as a no disqualification match. Who wants to take the first one?
So, just because it's been billed as a no disqualification match, I think this gives them another excuse to have Black lose the match, but stay semi-strong, if that makes sense. So, had his first loss, I think, since joining the main roster against AJ on Monday.
It wasn't against AJ. You keep hammering that home. It was against Carl Anderson.
But I'm just going off what I saw on Twitter, because it was like AJ came in and pinned him. I don't know. I'm just sort of piecing little bits together because I didn't watch it.
Honesty is the best policy. So
I think it's been made a no DQ, so there can be some shady dealings and maybe a gong.
Yeah,
here
Well,
or
that's
there.
what I'm thinking.
but who's your winner? Go on, AJ. What you going for?
Now that I've said that,
He's talked himself out of it.
Absolutely, Undertaker's going to come in.
yeah, I've talked myself out of it.
Black for the win.
Yeah, put me down for stick me down for Aleister Black as well.
Okay, right. Okay.
Just based on the fact that I think the Undertaker will get involved somehow.
Not that I am disagreeing with you entirely, but I am disagreeing with the winner of the match.
I see.
I'm going for a similar setup, but I think AJ will win because of nefarious OC interference, and then the Undertaker will make the save after the match is complete.
Interesting.
But yeah, similar setup, just a slightly different result. Plus, Mr. Moore has also predicted Aleister Black, which could potentially put me a point up there. So we'll see how we get on with that.
First out of the gate, points.
One thing we've not discussed at all podcasts so far is my absolute least favourite tag team in the division right now. I don't want any smoke at all. Street Profits do one for me, but I should have kept that for Ready to Grumble, shouldn't I? So shame on me. But yeah, the Raw tag team titles are up for grabs. After last Monday, the Street Profits were challenging for those titles against the Monday Night Messiah and his little buddy Murphy.
Christ.
And in a now or never situation. So the deal was they had to win the titles, otherwise they were never allowed to challenge for them again whilst Rollins and Murphy had them. In a bit of a sort of build-up between Owens and Seth Rollins, Owens interfered in the match. Your new tag team champions on Monday Night Raw, the Street Profits.
That should have been more Ready to Grumble.
Just keep it.
Stupid stipulations that are never ever going to be adhered to.
Anyway, keep that.
Surely your biggest grumble is a little bit hot potato. It's got to be up there.
Well, I've got so many segments just backing up for the next couple of podcasts. Christ almighty.
On the note then of the hot potato with the titles, let's let Paul lead off on this one.
No, keep it on the Profits.
So Street Profits to win.
Yeah, but I couldn't care any less about this match. I have absolutely no interest in this whatsoever.
That's some glorious praise indeed.
I mean, just...
It's got to be used to further again to build the whole. I think one of the expected matches at Mania is going to involve some kind of possibly team match with Owens being a captain and Rollins being a captain in some sort of Survivor Series, but we'll definitely not call it Survivor Series because it's not a November style match. So to me, that only serves purpose to build that, and for that reason, no, it's a different program. I'm going to be going for the Street Profits also. Mr. Moore has also gone Street Profits.
It's going to have to be a clean sweep. It's way too soon to put a title on.
Yeah, you can't have them win it and lose it in the same week.
No.
That'd be meant. This is WWE we're talking about.
Depends what mood Vince is in that morning,
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly. It literally does. It is whether he's had, 2 or 3 Weetabix, I'm assuming. Or if he's had hot milk or cold milk on him.
Oof. There's a lot of factors involved there.
There are, Andrew. There are.
3 with hot or 2 with cold. Could be a whole different ballgame.
Unbelievable.
We've got a few other title matches on the card. The next one that we'll talk about is the United States title. So Andrade is back from his wellness policy suspension, defending his United States title, which he didn't have to give up against Humberto Carrillo. I'm guessing you might not have even seen Humberto. No, I'm not taking that as a... So, why not start with Mr. Cook? Andrade as champion, defending against Carrillo. Who you got?
Andrade.
Okay. Mr. Moore has also gone Andrade.
Stick me down for a Humberto Carrillo win by disqualification.
Okay, so Carrillo by DQ.
I can only see this getting stretched out to WrestleMania and say hello to your yearly WrestleMania ladder match.
Really?
Yeah. Can't do it with the Intercontinental because Strowman in a ladder match makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
I think they'll do a 4-way.
And this, basically, cruiserweight ladder match, you always want to start WrestleMania hot. They more often than not will start it with a ladder match. Put your hands together.
We'll just point out that they might be cruiserweights, but they are fighting for the US title at that point. But
they're all guys who could fit into the sort of a cruiserweight style, cruiserweight weight division. They're all high flyers, aren't they? Basically, they're all luchadors in that sort of regard.
I'm going to kick it to Andrade on the basis that at some point there'll be interference or some sort of things with Angel Garza.
Ah, Selena.
And I also think that Rey Mysterio could be somewhere around that mix also.
Yeah,
so I'm seeing that as a potential 4-way match for WrestleMania if they want to. Mysterio's kind of owed a WrestleMania match for the United States title after last year's shit show as well. So
yeah,
unfortunate timing with his injury and stuff.
Had he torn his ACL or something? Or done something to his knee?
It was just not good, was it? Like he couldn't really go, but they still had to put it out. So anyway, we've got in what is possibly the strangest confirmed match on the card, a handicap match, 3-on-1 for the Intercontinental Championship. So Braun Strowman is defending his championship against Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro.
When was the last time Sami Zayn had a match?
I cannot remember.
18 months ago?
It can't be that long, surely.
I wouldn't be surprised.
If he has still been wrestling, it wouldn't surprise me if he's been knocking about on the house shows.
Yeah, I imagine
but televised match, yeah.
And I haven't no one seen him wrestle on TV in ages.
There was rumours of that sort of niggling injury, weren't there? And they didn't know if that was so. But then I've seen other things that have said about they just didn't know what to do with him, and they found him that his personality was too strong to get rid of, but they didn't see him as a wrestler, which is strange because he is very good.
Yeah, he's one of the better wrestlers they've got.
They've also not really clarified, and I think for a good reason, that is it going to be because Nakamura is like the main sort of stay of that little group. So are they fighting collectively for Nakamura? Are they then? Is it the person who pins him becomes champion, if that's the case, or does none of that matter because actually Braun Strowman's just going to retain?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't see anything else than Strowman winning.
Yeah, there's nothing jumping out there, that says anything other than Strowman to maintain.
Matt is on that wavelength also, and I can confirm that is a clean sweep. So we've got 2 more confirmed matches and a rumoured match, which the rumoured match would technically make it the 7th of our predictions. it was mentioned on SmackDown about Lacey Evans had declared for a SmackDown Women's Elimination Chamber match, but it hasn't seemed to be mentioned since.
Huh.
So whether or not they're gonna hash something together last minute this Friday before the weekend.
Again, wouldn't surprise me with that company. Nope. They're very last minute at the moment.
So this one is a bit more of a hypothetical thing. It might not come to any points for anyone. It might be the one that decides the title change next time around, depending how this falls. So, if there was to be a SmackDown Women's Elimination Chamber match, we're going to firstly have to hash out who some of the potential people might be, and then who would win it. As we said, when Matt couldn't join us, and he texted me a prediction for this, he absolutely stole my thunder with his response, because he picked Sasha Banks. I am also picking Sasha Banks if this match comes to fruition. I would be more interested in seeing Sasha versus Bayley at WrestleMania than anybody else on that roster versus Bayley, because that story would be fine and be okay with that. The only other person I'd probably like to see wrestle at WrestleMania is Little Miss Bliss, Alexa Bliss, but she's like, it wouldn't make sense just to chuck that as a random story, I don't think, at the moment. So I'm with you on that one, Matt, and I'm picking Sasha if that match comes to fruition. People that would be in that match, Lacey Evans had declared for it if it was going to happen, so she'd be one. Obviously Bayley would be one. We're going Sasha as one. I'd probably pick Alexa, Nikki Cross, and Naomi.
Yep.
It'd be my 6. If they even want to pile it up one more, because they can throw extra people in there, probably Carmella, but then you're talking you're getting onto the realms of the entire SmackDown Women's division at this point.
I think you have just named them all. Did you say Dana Brooke?
I didn't say Dana Brooke, no.
Ember Moon?
She's injured, isn't she, at the moment? She's been doing the old...
Kayla Braxton, absolutely not a wrestler. Mandy Rose, Maurice, Mickey James.
Mandy Rose could be thrown in there.
Paige.
Not going to wrestle.
Sonya Deville. Tamina.
I mean, you're really scraping the bottom.
I mean, we are kind of scraping.
So, thoughts? Will it happen?
As an Elimination Chamber match?
That's what it was touted as, if it happens. On the back of that, one thing that leans me towards this actually not coming to fruition is the fact it would then be the 3rd Elimination Chamber match on one pay-per-view.
Not happening.
Which, I mean, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong with this, but I would have thought that would be the first time they would have ever had 3.
I can't see having 3.
Sounds like a lot to cobble together in a matter of days.
That'd be insane.
They could just knock off the chamber part of it and have a multi-person match. They could even make it into a 4-way. But if this match happens in some vicinity, if you pick the winner of the match, if it comes together, I'll give the point for it.
Well, I didn't know if you were going to go... when you said women's... I assume that you might be saying women's battle royal for a number 1 contendership.
Again, could happen, and if it does happen, then again, I'd give the point for that. So in Matt's case and my case, if a match gets thrown together for the SmackDown women, if Sasha wins, we're in the points, Mr. Moore, we're in the points.
What's Charlotte up to these days?
She's doing the NXT.
She's doing the NXT title match.
At Mania.
Of course she is.
This is a weird one for me, because Sasha Bayley, as it stands currently, doesn't make any sense. Because they're both heels. And it seems a bit too we're too close to Mania to turn either one of them. So I don't think anyone would want to say... Well, it's not that no one would want to see it, because it would be a good match. But there's no sympathetic fit. There's no sympathetic person in the match. So there's no one to cheer for, if that makes sense. So you'd imagine that they haven't had Alexa Bliss do anything for ages. Stick me down for Bliss.
I was leaning that way
because they are quite high on her as well.
Ironic for somebody that's only 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Have you seen that since last podcast that Bowling for Soup released that song?
Yeah.
on there?
I didn't realise that. I think it's just called Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she's in the video. They're her favourite band.
That's pretty cool.
What's the...
It's like the Triple H Metallica thing all over. Not Metallica. Motorhead. I wonder if she's going to use it as her theme music.
Have you heard it?
I have not.
I hope not.
Oh God,
It's
not very good.
It's okay. It's a Bowling for Soup song. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a super joke, therefore. You're welcome. So you gone Bliss as well if that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. That leaves 2 matches of which I am expecting some quality. Mainly in the next one. SmackDown Tag Team titles are up for grabs inside the chamber. So your new SmackDown Tag Team champions, The Miz and John Morrison, after the Brawl for the Blood Money. I mean,
Sorry,
you've got to stop me doing that, sorry. Super Showdown.
Who the hell were the champions before?
It's his
New
boys,
Day?
The New Day.
Oh Christ!
New Day. He loves a bit.
Oh God!
Just calm down in the corner there and feel your excitement about the New
Oh
Day.
God! Does this mean it's?
So, Miz and Morrison going in as champions versus the New Day versus the Usos
Oh, it's a chamber match as well.
Yeah.
Oh Christ Almighty!
versus
Otis and Tucker.
Rudolph versus Heavy Machinery versus, from absolutely nowhere, Lucha House Party.
Oh, for fuck's sake! They
Not-
just need to fuck off.
Not saying you're in there just to make the numbers up, lads, but
Which
you know,
one? Which two is it? Because there's
The man is speech.
because there's Kalisto, Gran Metalik, and Lindsay Dorado, I believe.
I will go with...
Kalisto, Lindsay Dorado.
I would go Kalisto and Metalik.
Okay.
We're not giving
And
extra
that's
points for that, by the
whoever's
way.
winning it.
Huh?
That's whoever's winning it.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it
No
now.
chance. No chance. That's what you've got. There
That
is absolutely no way Lucha House Party win this match.
Oh, he's put the kiss of death on it.
I'm going to have to buy another t-shirt now.
Please
No,
don't buy
this
me a
won't.
Lucha House Party t-shirt because that would never get
Oh, you
worn.
said mask.
Do not buy me a Lucha House Party t-shirt.
I'll
That
give him
would
the
never
mask
get.
and the t-shirt.
The only good thing about it is I'm pretty sure they've used the In Your House logo.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
So what you're saying is if Lucha House Party win, you'll do the next podcast in the mask.
In the mask, wearing the t-shirt. All we need to do next
You've seen that? It's on camera.
On camera.
For the listeners, it was a handshake.
spandex leggings for that outfit.
So I basically just had to dress like a luchador for the entire... I'll do that.
Rest of the season.
And also then speak with like a Mexican accent in a luchador style.
Hey Holmes! What are you talking about, guy?
I think we'll move swiftly along from that one.
We'll just ignore the casual racism there. Yeah,
Nothing casual about racism.
Matt has gone, much to Paul's favour, I'm guessing, that there will be no hot potato with these titles. I also agree with him. Miz and Morrison for me and Mr. Moore.
This just... I can already see where this is going. Miz and Morrison retain here to then lose to the New Day at WrestleMania.
Not quite.
Do you not reckon?
No, I reckon they'll lose to the Usos at
Yeah,
WrestleMania.
the Usos have not had the tag titles for a while, but they just love putting titles on the New Day. So
And as well, they love shafting the Miz at WrestleMania. So.
there is also that.
Are you going Miz Morrison?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Cook.
You want to go Lucha House Party? Just
I'll
to see
start
me in a
writing
singlet
New
there.
Day down now.
I mean...
God, he really is. He's look at him. Look at he's struggling with it so much.
You can feel it boiling.
Will this be 8-time champs if they win it again?
It will be, yeah. Which is kind of definitely not the
part-
New Day for the tag team division.
Part of me feels like they take the titles back now
To lose them at Mania.
so that they've definitely got a match at Mania. And then you can decide what... Yeah, finish writing.
Actually going for it.
Yeah.
Oh, Andrew, you're going to lose that belt and it's all going to be because of the New Day.
I feel a little bit sad. That's like me picking The Rock.
Champions!
Which I
Champions!
think he's probably got more chance of winning that chamber match. But maybe that'll be my t-shirt next time around. I'm definitely not wearing a Rock t-shirt.
I mean... If you lose a bet, man. You don't want to be Stu Welcher rather than Stu
Woodmansey.
Oh dear. Oh dear. It leaves us one match on the card.
We probably don't need to discuss this for that long.
Because it's obviously not WrestleMania. The two main champions in the whole company do have the night off. So the final match to discuss is for neither the WWE Championship nor the Universal Championship.
Nor the Women's Championship.
Nor the Women's Championship.
So all four of the main champions, you could argue, in the company,
Night off.
not working this.
Unless that SmackDown Women's match
Turns into like
Bayley
Bayley
involved. Yeah. So this one, however, does have further WrestleMania implications because the winner of it's a Raw Women's Elimination Chamber match becomes number one contender and will face the man Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. The woman who won the main event last year. I don't think the women will main event WrestleMania this year.
I don't think they will either.
Probably don't think I'm going out on too far of a limb to say that. But I do think that this match could main event this pay-per-view.
Oh, it absolutely will.
So, your combatants for this match: Natalya versus Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler versus Asuka versus the returning Ruby Riott versus Sarah Logan. So you've got there's a few subplots within this because obviously you've got the entire Riott squad as was. There's been a bit of back and forth between Liv and Ruby since Ruby's return. However, on Raw this past week, they had a match with Sarah Logan as the guest ref.
Yeah.
And the person left standing at the end of the match, the guest referee, Sarah Logan. So there is a bit of a subplot there. That, if you take them out of the equation, kind of narrows it down to 3 between Asuka, Baszler and Natalya. They've thrown Shayna in there. There's probably not going to be too much more discussion around this. Does anybody, and I mean anybody like listening, that's ever watched wrestling, in fact anybody that's actually blinking and breathing right now, does anybody in the entire world think anybody other than Shayna Baszler is going to win this match?
Well, I was going to turn my Bayley thing on its head and say there is absolutely no way Shayna Baszler doesn't win this match.
Mr. Moore's picked it. I'm picking it. Paul's picking it.
You don't have a debut, become a vampire.
I think that was an accident still.
For some reason. I still haven't seen it.
So, for those of you that haven't seen it, Shayna attacked Becky on an episode of Monday Night Raw and bit her neck. There's obviously a bit of theatrics going on. I think there was probably one too many capsules in her mouth when it happened, and it kind of looked like she'd just been snorkeling in jam, is the only way I can describe it. There was far too much blood.
Viscous liquid.
Yeah. Going on, and I think it became the vampire thing by accident.
Right, okay.
I'm not sure that was what they meant. But I did enjoy that. Not necessarily the amount of blood that there was supposed to be, but the whole Becky then driving the ambulance off to hospital on her own, and then coming back again and cutting another promo. There's been some good stuff. I'm okay with it.
So weird.
I'm all okay with that. So yeah, Matt's picked it. Paul's picked it. I've picked it. Mr. Cook has picked it.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think she wins this. At this point, don't know how I feel about the main event, the WrestleMania match. Don't know whether she'd win that one.
Shayna?
Yeah, I can't make my mind up on that yet.
I think she will.
I'd be leaning more towards her winning it, but they're like sort of like setting trends and stuff, don't they? And a woman as the women's champ for more than a year, it's always going to look good on their ex sort of like thing, isn't it?
She's already the longest reigning, and they've already started flogging that horse. So as we mentioned, Andy is the longest reigning pay-per-view predictions champ. Did I mention he's the longest reigning prediction? How many times do I have to say this so he loses?
Is that guy over there the longest reigning pay-per-view predictions champion in Cookiecast history?
I believe he is. I feel like we're doing this wrong though, because we need the exact number of days for it to count as a...
Yeah.
Don't listen to them.
You talking to Silvery over there?
Oh, you're on.
I was going to say Whitey, and then I was like, no.
Oh.
No.
Never discuss the colour of a man's strap in public.
That is true.
So
Universal truths.
I feel like, just to bring it back to you can't see Shayna winning it.
It wasn't that I can't see winning, it's just that...
Obviously, we have skipped ahead massively here. This could all not even happen.
I don't know.
But it absolutely...
I don't think it's as cut and dry as that. I think there will be some form of Rousey interjection.
They won't make it a triple threat though.
No, they absolutely won't.
That's just sort of flogging the horse from last year. Do you know what my biggest worry about WrestleMania is right now?
The Rock gets in there somehow.
No, I'm even more worried about it than that not turning up.
Oh my god.
No, because I don't think it will be.
King, Corbin.
Nope.
Something or other.
Nope. Something.
Behind closed doors WrestleMania.
Nope. Something much worse.
Oh, Lesnar beats McIntyre. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. The way they're building it screams that that's what they're going to go.
Dwayne Johnson does like a introduction for every single match.
If his entire
45 minutes long a piece.
If his entire career had been a ring announcer, because again, no problem with him on the mic, I'd probably have enjoyed it much more.
Do you know what? Him introducing the teams in the Super Bowl, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
People were losing their minds.
It was fucking good. That's why.
But again, you know my theory on that. If just because I feel like this comes up every single time, if there's anybody else on there that thinks The Rock was bang average as a wrestler, I'm not talking about microphone, I'm not talking about the total package, I'm talking about the wrestling. Please just drop that in the comments, because I feel like I cannot be the only person who feels like that.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Hey, I'm alright with the other stuff. I'm even up to date on Ballers currently, so but just not with him as a wrestler. Anyway.
Yeah, it does seem as though they go like this past week was a pretty big indication that's probably where they're going, because they've built McIntyre up to look strong, and so far Lesnar's not had his heat back, shall we say? I just hope if he does, it's not like a 2-minute squash, because if it is, that's just bullshit.
The thing that's worrying me the most about it, what has happened to Brock Lesnar at the last 2 WrestleManias?
He lost and he won.
So, but he didn't win last year, did he? They had that whole thing about him getting kicked in the. So it's his turn.
What do you mean?
Like, as in, he lost last year, quite embarrassingly after getting kicked in the studs. I can't see it happening again.
Who knows?
If McIntyre's going to win, it'll be on the back of a Claymore after that's what they've built it as. And if it's not a quick hit and out, but then that's exactly what they did last year.
The only thing, I mean, like, this is true, but I'm going to give Lesnar a bit of due here. He's helped to make McIntyre look like a legitimate contender to go up against him.
One thing that we didn't discuss from the Rumble was the fact that Lesnar was the absolute MVP of that match.
Yeah, he really did well. So, did you actually watch it in the end?
I didn't watch it. I read a blow by blow.
So obviously he was number 1, and anyone who came in was just tossed over basically until it got to Ricochet.
Yeah, it backed up a little bit. Didn't it? There was a brilliant moment with Keith Lee,
Mysterio, Kofi, Big E. Because obviously when Big E came in, I was like, oh, maybe they are going to do something with... Oh no, he's just been thrown out. But some people legitimately lost their shit when Kofi came out, because everyone was like, is this where he gets his shot back?
Mm.
And it was like, oh no, they've given him a little bit of time. And he's gone. Okay.
The two highlights of Brock for that match was firstly when Keith Lee came out, big guy from NXT, current North American champion, never had any interaction with Brock before, but could be a good match if they ever decide to go that way.
Absolutely.
the camera cuts to Brock Lesnar's face, who's mouthing the words, "Who's this motherfucker?" Which was just perfect. And he's like, "Look at the size of this," like the kind of thing. And then the other bit was there was a shock return. MVP came back for a bit of a guest appearance. Apparently now signed as an agent for WWE.
Yeah, but
which
he
is,
keeps having matches every now and then.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
But basically, Brock just had like a 45-second little boogie to himself in the ring, dancing away to MVP's music as he came down to the ring. If you've not seen it, have a look. It's well worth it.
He can be a bit of a dick, but this latest sort of like run that he's been back for has been entertaining. Like the Brock party thing with the Money in the Bank briefcases and boombox was hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. What he does, I feel like he does well. Yeah. I just wish he'd do more of the actual wrestling side.
Cena came out and said it, didn't he? He said he's probably been like, he's up there as a contender for greatest WWE superstar of all time. I think he'd said in an interview.
I'd second that.
And yeah, you could argue that his second run's not been as strong, like, or as sort of impressive as his first in as much as putting together stellar wrestling matches. But he's not a wrestler anymore because he had to completely retrain to become a combat fighter, and obviously he's not going to just lose that from his repertoire. He should play up to that. So the way that he's doing it, it works for me. It's not what I want to see all the time, but elements of it
a
work.
good thing.
But yes, yeah. So we've gone through the results. I can't say we've crowned a champion because he's retained the title. Longest reign now. We'll not do that again.
How many days is it?
Too many to count.
I thought you were just going to leave it at too many and just absolutely burn.
Heel turn.
We've discussed a good few things. We're at, this is like the final point now. The next getting
stop
over will be WrestleMania.
The road to WrestleMania predictions.
Obviously the biggest question.
Are you ready?
Where are we watching WrestleMania?
Well,
there's plans. We can talk about that. We could even possibly reveal it on the next episode. And if anybody's around listening to it, come join us. Buy us beer,
please.
Well, I mean that's
/
where I was going.
buy us beer /
chicken wings,
coffee,
chicken,
depending what
/ coffee beans /
energy drinks
/
wankies.
Oh, wanky beers.
Anyway, on that note, just before we sign out again, another shout out for Let Loose HQ. Go check them out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for all your wrestling figure and merch needs. Johnny will look after you there, so go check them out. And yeah, thanks along for listening. Thanks for watching.
Give us a shout on Twitter. Start the ready to grumble.
Ready to grumble.
Hashtag ready to grumble.
And that t-shirt thing wasn't a joke. Look out for Paul's face on a t-shirt, winging its way to Cookiecast.
Who doesn't want to wear this
any minute
on their chest?
Do they do t-shirts that orange? Or?
I can only imagine. I suppose, why don't you log on and find out?
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there you go. What do you think of that? Who have you got for the predictions coming up for the big old pay-per-view? Let us know. Send them in to us. And I mean, let's face it, the ready to grumble stuff, that is absolute Twitter gold. So jump on Twitter, send us a ready to grumble, send us some information of stuff you want us to discuss. How about that? Email us. YouTube watchers, make sure you're subscribing and all that good stuff. Everybody jump over to thecookiecast.com. Check us out over there. Send us some love. Like I said in the podcast, there's potentially going to be a t-shirt situation coming. Just got a few tweaks to iron out on that one. So keep your eyes peeled for future updates. So yeah, that's that for this one. I hope you enjoy the upcoming pay-per-view. Get your predictions into us and we'll let you know what you win. Until next time, I'm going to say bye. I'll see you then. Bye.